first speaker of the opposition.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm Ailey. I'm the first speaker of the opposition team with the motion, "This House as Cambodia would unfriend Thailand forever." Madam Speaker, honorable adjudicators, and worthy opponents, good morning. The proposition showed you the bombs, the F-16s, and the 750,000 displays. Every single one of those things was real, and we do not deny a single death or a single displacement. But here is what they did not show you. They did not show you Thu Kui, 26-year-old, who walked back across the Cambodian border after losing her factory job in Bangkok and said, quote, "Now that I am back, there is going to be no income for a while, and this will really put my family in a bad situation," unquote. They did not show you Meng Yim, 32, standing on the roadside with all belongings, saying, "Cambodia and Thailand need each other to do well." They did not show you these people because these people are exactly who the proposition motion permanently abandons. We are proud to oppose. Now let us directly rebut the proposition's argument on economic dependency. Economic realignment means building new partnerships first, then reducing all dependencies. The proposition's motion does it backwards. Sever first, build later. That is not strategy. That is economic recklessness with Cambodian livelihoods as the collateral. She also mentioned about decoupling. The opposition conflates two entirely different things: ASEAN membership and bilateral preferential friendship with Thailand. Cambodia can be a full, active, compliant ASEAN member while downgrading its bilateral relationship with Thailand. ASEAN does not require member states to maintain warm preferential ties with each other. It requires non-aggression and dialogue. Cambodia can participate in every ASEAN mechanism while refusing to extend Thailand's preferential treatment it has not earned. These are not in conflict. The opposition case today rests in two arguments. I will present our first. The economic interdependence between Cambodia and Thailand sustains the livelihoods of millions of ordinary Cambodians, and permanently destroying it inflicts the greatest harm on the very people this motion claims to protect. My second speaker will extend our case on geographic reality that Cambodia and Thailand share a long-living land border across which people, goods, energy, and culture move every single day, whether governments agree to it or not, and that forever is not just unwise, but physically impossible to enforce on a border that geography itself refuses to respect. My one argument today is this: the economic relationship between Cambodia and Thailand is a lifeline sustaining millions of Cambodian families right now. Cutting it permanently without alternatives in place does not liberate Cambodia. It abandons Cambodia's most vulnerable people and calls it sovereignty. Cambodia does not have to imagine what disruption looks like. It lived through it in 2025. Thailand was the destination for 93% of Cambodia's migrant labor flow, approximately 1.2 million people. When the border erupted, 400,000 workers fled in 5 days. More than 9,000 people have since returned. Remittances, which totaled 2.8 billion in 2024, or 6.1% of Cambodia's entire GDP, collapsed overnight. The drop in remittance alone is estimated to reduce national income inflows by up to 30%, pushing families deeper into poverty across the country. That is what partial, temporary disruption looks like. The proposition asks you to make it permanent, forever, with no path back. And when Cambodia lost Thailand as a trading partner, what happened? Vietnamese buyers immediately replaced Taiwan's in agricultural markets, but offered prices 20 to 30% lower. Cambodia did not gain freedom. It gained a worse dependency almost immediately. Thai tourist arrivals to Angkor Wat fell 92.32% in July 2025 alone, threatening 510,000 direct Cambodian jobs that depend on the tourism. Permanently unfriending Thailand permanently closes that market. Those jobs do not come back. The proposition will say dependency is the problem and Cambodia should not need Thailand this much. In principle, They are right, but principle without the transition plan is recklessness. The government promised return workers 70,000 jobs and support packages. Those promises have not materialized. Return workers are eroding their savings to survive with microfinance lenders at their doors. The domestic economy cannot absorb 1 million people. You do not cure dependency on life-saving medicine by throwing it in the bin. You build the alternative first, then transition. The proposition throws the medicine away and tells the patient to feel proud. Behind every statistic is a human being. Rat Sarat, 20 returned from home and worked 12 hours a day at the furniture factory. Madam Speaker, the proposition speaks in the name of Cambodian dignity and sovereignty. We share that goal entirely, but a Cambodia that permanently severs its economical lifeline without protecting 900,000 workers drowning in debt, without alternatives in place, without a transition plan is not a more dignified Cambodia. It is a poorer one, and a poorer Cambodia is more vulnerable Cambodia, more dependent on whoever fills the vacuum, less able to assert itself regionally, and less able to provide for the very people whose dignity this nation claims to restore. Real sovereignty is not built by burning bridges. It is built by becoming strong enough that you no longer need to. We are proud to oppose. Thank you.